Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week I'm testing out a neat little bipod that's sure to improve your accuracy. But first up, we join Andy Watkins on a nighttime ratting session.
Well, I'm out here tonight. It's getting a little bit dark now, and we're going to be doing some rat shooting. There's a lot of feeders in this particular wood, and the gamekeeper's told me that there's rats everywhere, so he wants some of them thinning out. The gear I'm going to be using today is the Cometa Orion bullpup. I've been zeroing this today, and it's spot on for rat shooting. Nice and short, so when I'm walking through the woods, I don't want to be clacking the barrel on things. On top of the Cometa, I've got the Hawk Air Max 25mm tube. This is the 4 to 12 by 40, and that's held on with sports match mounts. Something that you'll notice a little bit different is so that I could put this scope on this gun. I've got some adapters from sports match, from Picatinny to 9mm dovetail. So that just means that I can put this scope on any gun with a dovetail rail. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Just waiting for it to get dark now, and then I'll pop the night sight wolf on and get shooting. But it should be an okay night from what I've been told. Behind me we've got the wood where a lot of the pheasants have been feeding. There's been a heck of a lot of feeders in there. The pheasant season's closed now, but there's still feeders there because the gamekeeper's looking at catching a few up. But one of the problems with having pheasant feeders is the fall of the grain, and the excess grain that's around attracts a lot of rats. Now I've been told by the gamekeeper that it's a real hot spot in there for rats, so we're just going to go in there and see if we can mop a few up. It's a really still night, nice and warm. About 6 degrees, so compared to the weather that we've had, it's a lot nicer, and that's very welcome. So we're going to see if we can put this little bullpup to good use.
Apart from being very compact, the Cometa Orion bullpup also boasts a magazine-fed loading system, a feature which will save Andy the trouble of trying to reload by hand in the darkness, which should make a big difference if he needs to take quick follow-up shots. With his kit set up, Andy heads into the darkness in search of scaly tails.
Okay, so we've come to the entrance of the wood now. Just going to pop in here, I'm going to flick on the night sight and have a scan around, see if we can see any rats. Right, straight away there's a rat down here. I'm just going to make a real quick shot there. Well, he went straight down. Needed a little bit of hold under, and he bounced around in the bushes for a little while. But I just walked in here straight away. He was just right down there in the brambles. Nice little shot there. With all the rats tonight, I'm going to leave them where they are, because another thing that the gamekeeper's asked me is there's a few foxes in the area. So where there's rats, he wants me to leave them and use them as bait. There's not really a lot you can do with rats, so I suppose that's one way of putting them to some sort of use. I'm going to move on now. There was a few around, but that last shot sort of spooked them off. But we'll just continue through this wood, see if we come across any more. I've been tipped off that through this little wood there's a big clearing with some feeders, and that's where most of the rats are.
After accounting for an early kill, Andy heads across to another spot. His tactics are to scan through the night sight for signs of ratty activity. The lack of light helps to prevent the rodents from getting spooked, and it's not long before Andy has another in his crosshairs.
There's another rat there. I was scanning this place for a little bit for a while. They've just been really quick and darting in and out of the feeders, but that one just stopped long enough for a shot, and I shot it, and I'm pretty sure it died just behind that feeder. Gonna wait a little bit longer, see if anything shows up in this location, because there's been a lot of movement. That one was probably not all that far. I don't know, I didn't actually use the laser, I forgot on that one. Probably, I don't know, at a guess I'd say 20 yards. We're going to carry on waiting here because this looks like it could be a good location. It's underneath a pine bough, about 15 yards. Well, that one rolled straight over, and actually as I was there, there was a few running about, so I'm going to again stay in the same place because there's a lot more rats to be had here.
So much for the Orion's multi-shot magazine. Andy's managed to put it down and lose it during a break in filming. That means he's now forced to fumble pellets in by hand, but we've edited it out to spare you the boredom.
There's another one down. They're just rolling straight over from this location. It's only about 15 yards. I think they know I'm here somehow, but they just don't seem bothered. When I'm building up quite a pile now. Underneath that pine bough is a really popular place for the rats to go. I think I've just dropped 3 there now. They're all just piled on top of each other. Again, there's still a lot more. I can just see them scuttling around in the background, so I'm just going to keep going until it dries up. They're not stopping to give me much of an opportunity. I'm just going to carry on waiting because as soon as one stops it's going to have a big 2-2 lead pellet. That one, I've never seen that before. That rat was eating one of the other ones that I'd shot. Bit of a cannibal rat. So I know I've seen it on other videos before of rats eating other rats, but I've never seen it in person. So that was a bit different. Yeah, I think there must be five or so dead there now. But yeah, it's really going pretty well in this little spot. So I'm going to wait it out a little longer, see if we get any more. So we've been waiting here a while now, not seen anything else, just dried up a little bit. So we're going to leave those rats there. Hopefully they'll act as fox bait and we can catch a few foxes to stop the pheasants being taken next season. But on the way back there is a few places that we can check for some more rats. Again, that the gamekeepers told me about. So let's just have a little wander back and keep flicking on the night vision every now and then just to see what's popping up.
And Andy's decision to move on through the woods is soon rewarded with a shot at another rat.
Alright. Yeah. We were just walking back past the past this little farm, little area. There's woods on our right, and there's just a gate in front of us, and there's a rat just perched under the gate. So soon sorted that one out. There's one more place that we could try. We could just sit there for a few minutes and see what happens, maybe 15 minutes. And then I think it's time to call it a night. I think we've had about 8 now, which isn't a bad haul. I think the gamekeeper will be relatively happy. Not the biggest night, but can't help it, some days they're just not there in their big numbers. I've just popped out of the this brush behind, and there's some breeze block. Looks like a breeze block wall, and I've lazed it, and it's a little bit further than any of the shots we've taken today, about 30 odd yards, which is just past my zero, so it required a little bit of holdover. That was the one. Just about moving when I took the shot. It was almost stationary, but that rolled over straight away. And as I shot, there's a few more there, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer, see if I can get the other one.
Andy managed to follow that last kill with a clean miss, but he's soon back in action.
Yeah, got him that time. First shot, I didn't give it enough holdover. I saw where the pellet landed, slightly low. Then he came out, and I just repositioned where I aimed and knocked him down. So that's pretty good. But the longer we're out here, the slower it seems to be. It is 11:30 now, so the night's sort of ticking on a bit. And it's a work night, so best to be getting back. But it's been a pretty successful session. I think we've had 10 or 11 rats, can't quite remember now. So the gamekeeper and the farmer should be pretty happy. But the Cometter's performed really well. Being a nice shotgun, it's been ideal in the woods. We've got a little bit of a drive home now, but that's fine. We've had a really enjoyable night, and we've knocked some rats over. Perfect stuff.
Interesting session there that shows you don't always have to head out after dark to target rats. And now, it's the Airgun Show news.
This is the Airgun Show news. The Home Office is pressing ahead with plans to make every firearms certificate applicant pay extra for a medical report. Medical reports have been a part of the licensing procedure for the last 2 years, when the Home Office agreed that a fee wouldn't be payable. But now, under pressure from the British Medical Association, the government is going back on its promise. The extra fee could increase the total cost of an FAC application by more than half. Basque said this was a betrayal by the government. The Kelmarsh Country Show has been rescheduled for the 16th and 17th of June after it was called off at the weekend. Exceptional volumes of rain meant there was partial flooding throughout the site and car parks, and organisers said they made the tough decision with a heavy heart to cancel the show. But they quickly announced that the show would go ahead on the new dates. Check out the Kelmarsh website for more updates. Airgunners and antis could be teaming up to promote safe airgun use. Basque says it will host a joint conference with the RSPCA this month, covering how to reduce airgun crime and misuse. Christopher Graffius of Basque said, "Both Basque and the RSPCA are concerned about the criminal use and misuse of airguns and believe it is important to come together to scope out the scale of the problem." And finally, the Commonwealth Games are now underway and represent a big chance for English, Scottish and Welsh shooters to bring home medals. In the Airgun events, Jen and Shona McIntosh are ones to watch for Scotland, while Ken Parr leads the line for England and Christian Callahan is the biggest medal hope in air pistol. Taking place in Australia's Gold Coast, these could be the last Commonwealth Games in some time that include shooting, so don't miss the events when they kick off on Sunday. That was the Airgun Show news.
It's not often that we feature bipods in our reviews, but the shooting party have sent me the ADRAS tilt and swivel lever bipod from AirForceOne to take a look at, and I have to say that for a bipod with a price tag of £59.99, I'm very impressed with it. Made from high quality alloys and stainless steel, the ADRAS weighs around 360 grams, so it's not going to add an excessive amount of weight to your combo. It's available in 2 colours, the tactical looking matte black and the far more bling champagne sand. So there really is something to cater for all tastes. Attachment is via a very secure quick release system. It's lever operated, which makes fast, easy work of snapping it on and off. It's designed to fit a Weaver Picatinny type rail, which more and more airguns have incorporated into their stocks these days. If yours doesn't, you can always fit an adapter to the QD stud, as I've done here. Once you've got it locked into position, the ADRAS bipod offers a tremendous amount of adjustment. The legs can fold up and down independently into 5 different positions. To shift them, simply push down the adjustment button and fold them up or down to lock into whichever position you want. The legs are also independently adjustable for length. There are 5 different height settings, giving a range from around 6.5 inches up to about 10 inches. Adjustment is smooth, fast and near silent. To shift the length, simply pull down the locking collar and slide the leg either up or down to the length you want. The bipod is supplied with round rubberized pad feet as standard, and you can buy a spike feet kit for an extra £19.99. Made from stainless steel, the spike feet are available in matte black or raw silver finish. Best of all, they're extremely easy to fit. Simply push down the plunger lock on the original foot and it slides out, and you then just snap the spike foot back in its place. The spiked feet are very light and increase overall length of the legs by around 1.25 inches. More importantly, their aggressive point really locks into the ground, creating a rock-steady contact point for the bipod and an even more stable shooting platform. Having a very secure shooting platform is all very well, but it can feel restrictive if your bipod has no facility for angle adjustment once you're roughly on aim. That's not a problem with the ADRAS though. Simply slacken off the large locking dial beneath the main base and you can pan smoothly from left to right without having to move the bipod. And that's not all. Slacken the dial further and you unlock what is effectively a ball joint. This enables you to tilt the gun, which is really helpful when it comes to keeping the vertical crosshair dead upright. What I really like is the fact that both the pan and tilt mechanisms never feel slack. That small amount of resistance means that it doesn't feel at all wobbly. These bipods seem to be very well constructed and have clearly been built to very precise tolerances. As a result, there's no obvious movement or play between any of the contact points. That rugged build quality goes a very long way when it comes to creating a solid shooting platform to help keep your shots on target. I deliberately opted for a top-heavy combo to test out these bipods. It's an inherently unstable setup that does shoot a lot better from a rested position. I'm pleased to say that the ADRAS bipod eliminated virtually all wobble and made a massive difference to pellet grouping. By improving accuracy, a bipod like this will extend your effective range significantly, whether you're targeting live quarry in the field or toppling targets on the plinking range. If you're looking for a relatively affordable bipod with lots of adjustment, check out the ADRAS. Not only is it packed with features, it's also extremely easy to use. That's all for this week, but we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, have a look at their website and check out the benefits you could be taking advantage of through Airgun membership.